friends. We're back with another part of our Zero Escape Let's Play. Now, when I opened this save, I want it to be known, it started me just like midway into the ninth man, about to go pop. Anyway, I had to click through most of that. Hello. Let's get back into things. The explosion rocked the room. Instinctively, they ducked, then stood up slowly, and they realized there was no danger. No one spoke, but Orion burped.
A beep?
All eyes turned toward it.
Did that thing just make that sound?
Seems so.
The display changed from engaged to vacant.
Lovely!
Let's see if we can open it.
You probably can. 7. The mountain swallowed hard.
Okay.
Junpei nodded and placed his hand on the scanner panel. Red asterisks appeared on the LCD panel.
Well, it registered my bracelet number, but it won't open with one person. We need at least 2 more people.
Okay, what to do? Sure, let's...
Ace, Lotus, you think you could give me a hand here?
The pun was a little too on the nose, but the mood was still grim. While Santa and June lifted their hands silently.
A few moments later.
Hands, or was it... What? I'm sorry. I have to take a screenshot of this. Was I supposed to select Santa and June? What? I just picked the first option. I was like, I don't think this matters. I'll just pick the first one. What? You know, we're gonna... what does this mean?
5 plus 1 plus 8 equals 14.
Yeah.
The digital root of 14, 1 plus 4 equals 5.
Junpei, I'm ahead of you on this. I already did the math.
This should do it. Now we just need to pull the lever on the side.
Quitching. The levers, my brain is thinking of the song High Rolling from Rise of the Pink Ladies right now. When I look at the little lever on the side, and I realize it's probably a bad time to be thinking about that song. However, I feel like it might be appropriate.
You guys ready? I'm gonna open it.
Junpei grabbed the lever and looked back over his shoulder. They stiffened and nodded. Junpei nodded back and set his mouth in a grim line. My little autistic brain sometimes reads these lines and is like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean a grim line? And then I think a little more on it and I'm like, yes, unhappy to be doing this. Then he slowly lowered the lever. I really wish that as those words were going through, the lever was lowering. Oh, hey. Yeah, he really went kaboom all over the door. I have a really morbid sense of humor. Y'all are gonna find that out while we're going through this game. It started out chill. It was calm. It was chill. It was dormant for the first little bit. But now that somebody's actually died, it's starting to come out. There was a metallic groan and the door slid open. A breath of air drifted out of it, carrying the stench. Nearly made them gag. Junpei grimaced, put a hand over his mouth.
Oh my god.
Good God.
That's not gonna help you here. Lotus and Ace shuddered. 7 grunted.
Whoa, that's pretty bad.
Even Santa's voice shook.
He blew up.
It appeared that Santa was right. The hallway on the other side of the door was splattered with chunks of torn flesh and dark red blood. Okay, please, can you not scream without warning? The shriek echoed across the room. It had come from June. Then her strength left her, and she dropped. As Junpei turned to catch her, the door groaned shut. Bye-bye. She crumpled to the floor.
June, are you okay?
That was when he noticed. Her whole body was feverish. She was radiating intense heat.
What the hell? Where'd this fever come from?
June didn't answer. Her face looked like wax, and her whole body began to shake.
All right, okay, let's just rest for a minute, okay? You think you can walk?
She nodded weakly. Junpei lifted June to her feet and guided her to a nearby chair.
Here we go.
As gently as he could, he sat her down in it.
How are you feeling? Are you all right?
She nodded, and as she did, a single huge tear rolled down the side of her face.
Why? Why did this happen?
You know, we would have an answer if we weren't here. Her voice cracked, broken by misery and grief, choked by sobs.
Why did this happen?
Junpei spun around.
Do any of you know what the fuck is going on here? Who's Zero? What's this nonary game? Come on! Anybody? Anything?
He gets real protective now.
What the hell is going on? What are we doing here?
This is giving very much
What the fuck is up, Kyle?
energy. No one spoke. Ace, Snake, Santa, Clover, Seven, and Lotus. They simply stood there, 7 pairs, downcast eyes, 7 grim lines of mouths. June's body shook with silent sobs. They slowed as the minutes ticked by, and eventually they stopped. The moment they mention time is the moment I expect a clock to go ding, ding, ding every time in a video game, or even in like a movie. Then suddenly, in the cold, heavy silence that had enveloped them like a thick fog, bell began to ring. The clock in the central hall, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and then on the 10th ring it stopped. The sound of the bell faded away into the silence.
It's 10 o'clock then.
Yep, he said what each of them had been thinking.
That means it's been an hour since Zero's little announcement.
Yep. Seven's deep voice echoed across the room.
Fuck! I've had enough of this crap!
Santa leapt to his feet, his fist clenched. His fist seems to be always clenched.
How long are we gonna pussyfoot around like this? We've only got 8 hours until this time limit Zero is going on about is up. Let's get going already! Go! Go!
Santa's outburst fell on deaf ears. No one seemed to agree with him. They stared back at him, their eyes blank and their faces tired. Finally, Lotus spoke.
No, I refuse. I'm not gonna end up like him.
Well, if he had followed the directions, he wouldn't have ended up like that.
Him? You mean the 9th man?
Of course, who else?
In his mind, Junpei saw the corpse again.
Blood. Oh. Blood and pieces of flesh.
I do not need you to describe it, sir. Oh, I still thought it was in brackets, and I was like, why isn't it reading it? After I just said, I don't need you to describe it. Dark red, reddish black pool of blood, the scattered pieces of flesh, organs strewn across the floor like blossoming of grotesque flower. The explosion that had torn through his body had been powerful.
There's no way for a person to die.
That's no way for anything to die. Person, animal, anyone. The ninth man's neck had been twisted and on an odd angle. Junpei suspected the detonation had thrown him against the wall. Half of his face was crushed and the other half was covered in blood. Most of his abdomen had been emptied, either by the explosion or by gravity. He had landed on his back, and stark white ribs jutted up out of his chest like the legs of some sort of macabre. Wait, I need to... What the fuck is that?
A few moments later.
How do I say that?
Macabre.
Macabre? They ran out of words to say gruesome, that they went and got an old word that means gruesome. We're not going to discuss words. I will say that entire description is just disgusting. Junpei felt something flip in his stomach. Understandable. I had just eaten lunch.
Screwed up.
Eyebrows went up and Santa continued.
Probably set off some sort of trap and that killed. I'm not gonna screw up like that. I'm getting out of here alive.
Okay. Snake? Whatever Snake was laughing at, Santa did not find particularly humorous.
What's so goddamn funny?
Oh, my apologies. You were just, so very confident. I couldn't help myself.
That's a little rude, but you know, in this situation, I can understand everyone deals with it in different ways.
What the fuck?
I think you've mistaken the situation.
Huh?
The 9th man's death. It had nothing to do with the trap. Or at least, not the sort of trap you imagine it did.
Then?
He broke one of Zero's rules. That was why he died. Quite
Fucking
simple
called
if you
it!
think about it.
Fucking called it! I'm sitting here, all last part, as the events were happening, going, you're not following the rules!
Huh? You still don't... All right. How about you take a moment and think back to what Zero said? Specifically, What did he say about the number of people?
He said only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door.
And after that? You've forgotten the relevant part.
And the relevant part, I have forgotten too.
What did Zero say?
Come on, you got a little brain in there, Santa. Santa furrowed his brow and thought. Junpei thought back. Zero said that only 2 people can go through, that everyone who verified had to go.
All those who enter must leave, and all
And
who
all those
enter
who
must
must
contribute.
contribute.
Right? I think it was something like that. Whatever it was, it means that groups of less than 3 or more than 5 can't go through.
That is correct. A gold star for you, Junpei.
Do I actually get a gold star? I'll take one of your gold buttons. Snake inclined his head toward Junpei.
The 9th man, however, broke that rule. He tried to pass through a numbered door by himself. That was why he was executed.
And Zero's watching us from somewhere. Making sure we don't break any rules.
Again,
Oh, I'm not so sure of that.
Why not?
Because this execution system is entirely automatic. You didn't notice? There's no need for him to monitor us.
What do you mean?
Snake looked at Seven with what could only be described as pity and sighed.
Very well. I see it must be me who tells you. I've waited long enough, I suppose.
Snake is over here like, I have to really spell it out for you, huh?
I had hoped Zero might spare me the trouble, but that seems increasingly unlikely.
He couldn't see them, of course, but perhaps Snake sensed the confused eyes upon him. When Ace spoke, he gave words to everyone else's thought.
Do you know something?
Why does his face look like that? Why do you look like that?
Well, I know a great many things, but yes.
Everyone's like, yes, Santa, he's just a little shit. No, Snake is.
What is it you know?
Here.
Snake removed a card from the pocket of his jacket.
Card? What does it say?
What does it say?
See for yourself.
Bestie, if you're gonna hand that to him and it's in Braille, I will reach my hand through the screen and slap you. With a flourish, he presented it to Ace, who took a close look at it and spoke.
Come on now, what's the point of giving me this?
It's in Braille, isn't it? Santa snatched the card from Ace, but his expression of disgust quickly turned to one of confusion.
Huh? The hell is this?
It's Braille. Seven tugged it. It's just gonna be pass along, isn't it? Seven tugged it out of Santa's hand.
I see.
Card went from Seven to Lotus, from Lotus to June, and finally to Junpei. He looked at it and understood.
This is
It's
Braille.
I actually did learn how to read Braille in high school. Do I remember how to read Braille? No. Braille, the written language of the blind. The card was covered with small embossed bumps. Junpei could recognize it, but he certainly couldn't.
Sorry,
Read it.
guys, I can't read this. Here, have it back.
Junpei handed the card back to Snake, who nodded at him with a small smirk.
Okay, that was fun. What's so important about that card?
I found it in my pocket. I can only assume it is a message from Zero.
Most likely. But also, I'm a little uncomfortable with the idea that he just, felt up your purse and was like, here.
From Zero?
What does it say?
Suddenly, everyone was crowding around Snake, desperate to hear what the message said. Snake especially looked as if he were about to grab hold. Santa was especially looked as if he was about to grab hold of Snake and shake the answer from him. Snake raised his
Calm
hand.
down now. No need to panic. You don't need to force me. I'll read it.
Junpei swallowed hard and waited for him to start. He was not the only one. Presently, Snake began to read, his voice calm. His fingers glided over the tiny bumps as he spoke. But we are gonna find out what the card says in the next part. Thank you so much for watching, friends. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry to cut you on a cliffhanger again, but really, I do appreciate it. Just know, these half-hour increment parts, they help it for me for editing. I can't edit a video that's an hour or more. It really messes with me. Please, thank you for understanding. Anyway, I will catch you in the next part. I love you. Bye!